of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited. We have Megan, who is the owner of Behind the Scenes Events in Bismarck. Not only does Megan plan events and coordinate weddings, she also has created a wedding binder that is perfect for brides on their big day and to help along the process.
Megan also took her events to the next level by offering Glamping, a fun and new feature to have at any party. Megan's passion shines through as she gives examples of unique experiences and how to elevate your day. Megan truly wants every couple to enjoy their special day, whether it be alongside her directly or through her custom wedding binder.
So grab your cup and enjoy!
Hi! Hey, you guys.
Hello! How's it going?
Oh, great. I'm glad I got Zoom to work. Half the time I cannot figure it out.
Good. Technology, man.
Oh my gosh.
Now everyone's having to get used to.
I know. How are you guys?
Good.
We're so excited to visit with you.
I know. I can't wait. When did you guys start this?
We started probably in like January, so it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
A little over.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we just
Yes.
22nd episode, so
22nd. Oh my gosh, I love it.
We're excited to have you
yeah,
and tell us all about everything you're doing because, I mean, you got a lot going on with behind the scene events.
Yeah.
Glamping. I mean,
Yeah.
so many things that you're doing. So we're super excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's almost like 3 businesses in one, which I wasn't really the intention. And now I'm like, I just have so many different passions. I couldn't stop myself in a way. So
why would you? There's no reason to. So just go for it.
And they all go together so nicely too, which I think is great. So it's like they all kind of feed off each other. So, I mean, tell us all about it. Tell us how you started, inspiration, what led to another.
Yeah. It's been a journey and a very unique experience kind of how I got here, actually. So the business existed with an older gal she had it for, I want to say almost a year. And long story short, it takes the right person to be a wedding planner. I'll just say that. And I just think she just kind of got burnt out and was just ready to I just think she just found a different path, which, that's life. So basically, I remember I've thought periodically growing up, like, what if I was a wedding planner? And then I was like, well, I wouldn't want to work every weekend, that sort of thing. But it's like, that doesn't have to be the case. I mean, you can make your own path out of it. But so long story short, I ended up meeting with her like about a year and a half ago. Hi, buddy. And I was like, hey, what would it take to be a wedding planner? Or what, just give me the scoop here. And she was like, well, I'd love to talk. I don't know that I necessarily want to keep pursuing where I'm at. So I was like, oh, interesting. So we just kind of chatted, had a really nice chat. And she at the time was talking to 2 other gals who were very interested in doing the corporate side. So they ended up taking kind of over the business and doing mostly corporate, some weddings. And then I came around after talking to the previous owner, and the 2 of them are just lovely. And they were like, Megan, we see your passion for the weddings. Do you want to join in on us, help with marketing, that sort of thing? So I was like, obviously, I mean, it's an opportunity I have to say yes to. So that I did that for a few months. And then we got to the point where I guess it was just, I got so into it, so excited about it. I just felt very fulfilled in so many different aspects. So they basically were like, Megan, like, do you want to, take in and like become an owner and go all out on this? And I was like, of course. So that's kind of where that came from. And since then we have actually found different paths, and it's been a very smooth, like healthy journey of kind of just finding different passions that the 2 of them found. And so at this point, it's just me, and they have just found different things that fulfilled them. So as of now, Ashley is going to do some month of weddings for us still, because she's so good at it and she thrives in the kind of when it gets down to the final swing of things with weddings. And I love the full planning where I get to know the brides and be in their life for like a year or so. And we just become best friends. I have a bride, her wedding is next month, and we're going out for her birthday Thursday. I'm like, what is this? It's just the
best. That's so fun.
It's just, so yeah, it's been a journey that I did not expect at all in a way. But yeah, opportunities kind of kept coming and I kept saying yes, and I kept getting very passionate. And then it just kind of was like a roller coaster of good things. So yeah, so it's been a time.
Well, that means you're doing the right thing when you're when you're so fulfilled, opportunities keep coming to you, doors keep opening, and that's so great. Yeah. Because that doesn't always happen for everybody. So that's huge.
Right. It's cool that it sounds like you brought your own twist to it with the glamping. So explain to some of our listeners who don't have any clue what glamping is, who are completely blind, haven't seen the actual visuals of your beautiful Instagram. So explain kind of what the glamping is and what you've done with it within, what do people utilize it for events? I saw that you put some proposals. So we want to hear all about that.
Yeah. So I was on Pinterest late one night, as one is, and I saw these pictures of this company, and they had the cute tent set up and like that low table that you may have seen on my Instagram, and some boho mismatched rugs and pillows. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to this company and see if they want to work together. Little did I know they were in Australia. And so they're like, well, happy to help, chat or whatever you need help with. So we messaged back and forth for a little bit. I chatted about where they got their tent. It was just a nice chat, and I just got very inspired, and it was so unique, and North Dakota has nothing like it. So that's kind of where my initial sparks flew, which that's kind of how the wedding planning began in my brain too. Back in college, I remember I wrote in my notes, steps to become a wedding planner. And it was this long list that I ended up using, of course, to then build my workflows that I have now. And so it's just weird that I never would have even thought I'd be here, but the way it worked out was really nice and really, really special. So anyway, so glamping is, some may say, glamorous camping. And so I've had a couple, like I said, the honeymoon suite that are actually doing the overnight stay, but mostly I'm sticking to bridal showers and just the cutesy, unique tent setup, whether it's drinks in the tent. Ashley, my business partner's wedding, she had it up at her. So after the ceremony, they did a cocktail hour in the tent afterwards. So guests got a drink in there. Yep. And then they took it into the reception. So that was really special out at Black Leg. And so there's so many different things you can do. And really you gotta look at the pictures. That helps to explain it. So yeah, I call it like a glamping bridal shower if they do something like that. Or I had a baby shower, 50 people. No idea I was going to do 50 people. That was another thing too. The opportunity arose. And so I made 8 different wood benches that I love making projects too. So again, I just have all these different like things that make me feel alive. So I love just watching Netflix, watching Schitt's Creek, building a bench. That's my thing. So.
That sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're done now and I'm a little disappointed. I'm like, what can I make now?
On to the next project. I'm sure you like it.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, there's so many different options. For the honeymoon suite, I'm making little rattan chandelier.
Love
rattan. I don't know. But so I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of a basket and then put an Edison bulb. Then I have to figure out how to get battery operated lights. So stay tuned.
Gosh. These are like creative things I would never in a million years think about. So that's why we need people like you.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot of just figuring it out as I go. That's like the number one thing I think that it's been. But yeah, so it's been fun to find ways to combine them and to get brides just a really, really unique wedding, because really my favorite weddings are outdoor. I did one this weekend out at Minokan Grove, and they had a live band out there, and it was just so unique, so different, and guests were just so into it. It just wasn't a typical venue. And so yeah, so I've realized that's kind of my niche, is like outdoor backyard from the ground up weddings. That's what I just thrive off of. Like, I'm like, goodness, a venue wedding is so easy now.
It's true. You have a lot of a huge blank slate to work with when you're dealing with the outdoors. Mm-hmm. So I could see where your creative mind would probably love to be put in that atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge for sure, but it's been interesting to find a rhythm so far. And just learn to trust myself with the process too. That's been important.
So you talked a lot about how you have done different types of events. So you've done weddings, bridal showers, baby showers. What has been your favorite so far, and why? And what does that really look like? Because I think that's so cool that you don't just limit yourself to doing just weddings, even though that is your favorite. But you can offer things to everybody.
Yeah. And really, so I think my all-time favorite is definitely the full planning, just because like I mentioned, I get to build that relationship. And to me, that's just so fulfilling. And I just love all the little details and that I get to use, and just that part of my brain just really, I just love using that part of my brain, I guess you could say. So that's definitely my favorite, but that's another reason I wanted to add glamping on, because I love design. I always thought for a second there, I thought about home staging, and it just didn't come quite as naturally. I mean, who knows what the future, I don't know what but yeah, so I just really wanted that design part of my brain to be able to get used to. So not to say I don't love, setting up and designing a unique shower or glamping suite. I love, because one thing I get to do with glamping is make a little like mini floor plan. So I'm such a geek over floor plans. So I build a little thing in Canva with little graphics. So that's kind of fun so they can see what it looks like too, because a lot of people are visual people that need it.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. So like the event coordinating, the actual like coordination of the whole A to Z is kind of what you really enjoy then?
I would say, I love all of it. I really do. But I would say that is my specialty, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And even because, again, so there's the full planning, then there's the month of coordination. And that's when the bride plans their wedding. And then I come in, get all the final details solidified, and, reach out to vendors, take the emails out of the bride's inbox, that sort of thing. And then I'm there the day of, and I was up till 2:30, you guys, Saturday after a wedding, because I could not sleep. There was so much adrenaline. It was just like, I just felt so myself, so alive, like all day. People coming up to me, like just relying on me for those answers, like feeling needed and feeling like I got it covered, kind of thing. So love month of too. But it's really, really nice for me to get to be a part of that vendor communication, the whole process. That way I know who I'm working with too. Yeah. I get to get my favorites and
build that relationship, and you're a part of such a special day in these people's lives. And I can only imagine with how much you've done. I mean, I think of the people who helped me with my wedding, the photographers, the vendors, they've seen and been through it all, and they have some hacks that I would never think of. So What are some day of wedding hacks that you have either seen at some of the weddings that you've coordinated or that you keep in your back pocket ready to use when stuff goes haywire?
Oh gosh, on the spot. Um, well, so one thing I guess that I like to help with is I call it an oh shit kit. So I have this little emergency kit that I bring to every wedding that has anything you can think of, spray on deodorant and sewing kit. I can't even
Band-aids, I'm sure.
Oh, all the things. So I would always recommend a bride bring that or just have a personal attendant bring something like that so that they can have it and give your phone up for the day, just you don't need it. And that's one thing too that I just mostly want to help brides to not feel like they need to run the show the day of. But I mean, tangible, practical things, I guess I would bring a speaker for your girls to get ready to do pictures. So you're having fun. You're not awkward like I would be in photos. That helps. And I guess honestly, my biggest thing, piece of advice for brides would be it does not have to be perfect. And my biggest thing when I look at kind of the clients and the brides I work with is I really just emphasize that. And I hope that those are the brides that I get to attract and work with, because what even is perfect, really? I mean, no photographer can tell you, or perfect to you is different than any vendor would ever think it is, or, it's just, there's no right answer on what that is. So I guess I would just really advise for brides to just let go of those expectations of perfection and just let the day happen as it happens. And just trust the people you hire. I mean, you paid them good money for a reason.
Those are great.
That's really helpful. Yeah, that's really helpful to just be present, enjoy the moment, let the people, like you said, that you paid do their job. So other than hacks, what do you think are some details or specific things that people maybe miss when planning their event that they often wish that they would have done or would have taken into consideration?
One thing that I always go through at the kind of as the process winds down and, we get close to the wedding day is I go through, I call it my wedding planners. I guess I just call it my wedding planners checklist, really. Is just the final, I run through who's bringing dessert plates, who's bringing dessert napkins. Do you need to keep the top part of the cake? Do you need to, are you freezing your cake? Little things like that, I would, if you are freezing your cake, I'd make sure to put it in a space or a place that protects it at the end of the night so that doesn't get just thrown away, that sort of thing. So just little details that totally just would have, blown over. Probably I didn't even think of for my own wedding. So I've just, it's been really, really interesting and beneficial for me to see wedding after wedding and realize how many little things so I can better help the next bride. But, oh man, other than that, it's just I think one really helpful thing that I would appreciate as a bride is having a packing checklist. So I know what I need in my suitcase, for getting ready, and something like having decor, little ribbons for your stationery pictures, to lay out for your photographer, or little, just little decor pieces like that you maybe wouldn't think of. One little tip, make sure somebody drops off your dress garment bag at your hotel. So in the morning, you don't have to wear your wedding dress out.
Or just have it on a hanger, dragging it across the floor. Oh my gosh, that's a genius idea.
So
I always delegate somebody to do that. Whether personal attendants are always nice, or just a friend who's maybe not in the wedding, who, because check-in for a hotel is maybe a little later. So Yeah, make sure someone's there to do that. I had a friend who I didn't coordinate her wedding, but she got married recently, like a month ago. And she said, so her dress had little, those little buttons, those cute little buttons on the back. And she forgot to pack the tool to unbutton those little guys. Oh. So yeah, so it was just a mess to try to get out of her dress, the poor thing.
Packing list would have been great. Right.
A packing list. You can download it on my website, a little plug there. So
nice. Well, there are just so many little details that go into the day. And how would you know what to do for those little scenarios? So I love that you have avenues and resources for people to kind of feel as prepared as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another big thing is I wanted to cater to the brides who maybe can't afford a planner, or because I mean, if you're anything like me, I certainly was not about to get a planner. I mean, there's a bunch of type A girls out there that are so good at organizing. They got it under control, and they probably do. I mean, I guarantee you they're killing it. And so I wanted to cater to brides that feel like they know what they're doing. They trust themselves. So that's where I got that. That's where I made that wedding planning binder. And so that has all the templates I use, including that one I just mentioned, like the one that I go through all the details at the end of the process. So all the little templates I use for my full planning brides are in the binder. The packing list, really important one. So I really hope that I can serve brides that feel like they got it under control, but still want some guidance and like just a human being kind of helping them through.
Yeah.
So that was the motivation with that sector of the business.
Yeah. That's really cool that you offer avenues for everybody, whether they want to work directly with you or just want to have some help and do it themselves. I think that's so awesome. And you're dealing with two people. A lot of times it's usually one's kind of taking over the show and then the other one's just making decisions and saying whatever you want. But what is one thing that you feel couples that you've worked with are typically not agreeing on, or maybe struggle coming to a conclusion with? Is there something that you continually see couples having kind of disagreements with when planning their wedding?
I haven't seen many disagreements quite yet, to be honest with you. And not that that's an unhealthy thing. I mean, disagreements are very healthy and it's a big process, and you probably haven't done a project this big with your significant other. So, I mean, again, disagreements are not a bad thing. But I guess generally speaking, I would say guest lists can be tricky if one side has a bigger family and the other fiance feels kind of undervalued because their family, their side isn't as accounted for, I guess.
Yeah.
So that can be, I haven't dealt a lot with that firsthand, luckily. I've asked them, because I have I check in with the brides and with the couple every month. I send like a questionnaire to make sure they're on task. And I ask if there's anything, did anything emotional come up, like any family things you need to talk about, anything like that. So I want to make sure that they can share that with me, because sometimes you feel like your friends don't want to hear it over and over. At least I felt kind of annoying when I was a bride, telling the same stories over and over, So yeah, I really like to make that channel of communication really open, so they feel like they can share the drama. Plus it's kind of fun to talk about it sometimes.
Get the inside scoop on what's going on, the family dynamics.
Like, oh, you're Susie.
That's amazing.
Nice. So what do you think is the number one question that couples forget to ask when looking at a venue? Or I guess not a venue, even working with different vendors. What are things that people usually forget that you're like, you got to ask this?
Oh gosh, I guess it's tough to say, only because there's different questions for each vendor. But I mean, the general ones are always, I guess a good one would be what is the deposit and when is the remaining balance due? I have a payment due date spreadsheet that I keep track of brides' payments for them, so that way they have it documented. Okay, I paid $500 in, and $1,300 is due a month before. Here's how I pay. So I would definitely recommend that brides ask the question of when it's due, just so they know and they have that written down. It makes it a lot easier as you get closer and you're finalizing things with vendors, that you look more informed, I guess, when you're like, payments due here, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes.
Like, you got it, girl. Yeah. So speaking of money, what is something that people they should spend their money on versus something that they maybe should try to avoid? Do you ever see that? Because, weddings are pricey. Everything adds up very quickly. So what are some of those yes or no?
Yeah. So that's hard to say. I always try to not should people. I felt so. Quick little backstory. When I was at my friend's veil or dress appointment, her mom and mother-in-law, now, they were talking about whether she's wearing a veil, and she said, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't really think it's me. And the mom says, or I think it was the mother-in-law said, what? You have to wear a veil, blah, 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 blah. And she just and so just hearing the halves and the shoulds, that gets kind of tricky. So with that, I've really learned to try my hardest, even if I have opinions, to not say, oh, you should take this out to save money. For what I did, I didn't do save the dates. I didn't do programs to save money. But that was just kind of my idea. A lot of people love stationery and love that, just having that and, hanging up cute little invitations, and that's important to them, so it's like, for me, it was like, whatever. And that's how I was also the same with food at the time. I was like, people just want to celebrate you. They don't really care what they're eating. Now, actually, though, now that I'm like seeing the really unique food my brides are having, I'm like, dang it. That's actually really fun. Like, I have one that's pitchfork steak fondue, you guys.
That's awesome.
Like in Medora. But anyways, so I guess to help kind of mitigate that, though, at the beginning of the process and at the beginning of the binder, I guess too, I have I have a little space where they can fill out their 3 priorities and their 3, I can go without this item kind of thing. So that way they can lay it out like, hey, parents, if your parents are helping you pay, it's really important to say, hey, photography is very, very important to me. I really find that it's important to spend a little more money. But if you're going to do that, then again, you do need to have something that isn't as important, and that you are willing to give up a little bit on. I mean, if you're paying for it all, by all means, you do whatever. But I do still recommend, just when you're budgeting, so you can know what you can spend a little more or less on.
Yeah. That priority list definitely helps. But I love that you mentioned the unique foods, because I'm definitely starting to see that too. Now with the more weddings I go to, people are they're really doing it. They're going big with their food menu. So I want to know, what are the most unique things that either you've done or that you've seen within weddings?
So for unique things for weddings, that is a great question, because I am on the tail end of my 2 big weddings. I've been working with these brides for 11 months now, and both of them are outdoor home weddings, which is so special. I have one in Detroit Lakes, and that one they're getting married on the sandbar where their parents got married on Pelican Lake.
Wow.
Oh, you guys. So it's so they're having 2 ceremonies, actually. So they're getting married with their bridal party, and parents on the sandbar with boats pulled up and everything. We got microphones out there. Isn't that fun? And then they're boating over to Zorba's for the party bus. And then they're coming back and they're having a blessing, we're calling it. So that's when all their 400 guests are coming to the woods, and we're having like hay bales set up for their chairs with cute like white and cream quilts laid down. And then after that, we're having like a 2-hour long cocktail hour with scavenger hunt. And I made a cute little like map for them. So guests can like go around this like so many acres in this at this cabin, that they're having a bar in the middle of the woods. They're having the glamping tent up. They're having an outdoor dance floor under the lights. Yeah, it's like bizarre, you guys. And then my one in Bismarck, well, Baldwin, that's their, so it's Parker, her name is, her fiance's parents' house. And they're having pitchfork steak fondue. They're having Tiny Tap, which is a new cute little trailer. And it dispenses ciders and beers. You got to look them up. And they're having a dessert food truck with smoothies and cute little desserts that are custom. That's with 3andMe here in Bismarck. Rachel, she is great to work with there. Gosh, what else? Another dance floor under the stars there. And like, yeah, I'm having like an indoor outdoor kind of bar area. And then that's a tent wedding too. So yeah, so it's just been so fun to find how many unique vendors there are in Bismarck even. Like I've been shocked. We have a lot to offer here now. It's really cool.
And you do weddings all over North Dakota, correct? I mean, I know you're in Bismarck currently, but you kind of have done all of North Dakota, correct?
Yeah. So I have done a lot of vendor research, even in the cities area, actually too. So really, I mean, I'm down for anywhere.
Get this girl on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. So I, of course, mostly Bismarck, and I've done mostly Bismarck, but again, I have that one DL one, chatting with a spearfish bride, which would be really fun. So yeah, I'm not really gonna say no unless it's like, yeah, really, I guess. Yeah, maybe even if it was really far, I don't know. Who knows? But
cousin got married in Spearfish, and it was so fun. It was so pretty. It was at a fish hatchery, so it was outside. It was super gorgeous. I don't know the name of it, but anyway, hopefully that one comes through for you because it was fun. So, but we have such a fun game for you. So we're going to dive in, and this is fun. This is nothing that you had to prepare. It's just super fun. So just like that you've seen on Instagram, it's called This or That Game. So Spray and I will rattle off like 2 different options, and then you have to pick the one that you would choose, and then you can explain it and not explain it, whatever.
Give us as much or as little detail as you feel like it's necessary for it. Some of it's going to be opinion based, but if some of them might have some good tips, I feel like you could give behind them. So first one being a glam versus simple.
Simple. Definitely simple. I love simple. Yeah, I don't even know if I have to explain that one.
Perfect. All right, signature drink versus snack bar.
Oh, I would say snack bar is a must, but signature drink is so fun. So that's tough.
If you could pick one, what would be hold higher?
I'll do snack bar.
Yeah. I think I would too. Yep. This one I struggle with.
Oh, good.
Band or DJ?
Sorry, you said band or DJ?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Band. I'll say that right away. Recently made that decision off of the wedding I did Saturday. So Silverado was their band, and oh my gosh, they were such a blast. such a blast. Of course, DJ is amazing and like you can never go wrong. But if you're really looking to mix things up, band is really cool.
Yeah, fun. Okay, cool. Personal vows versus standard repeat vows.
I like personal.
Yeah, those are so fun
Can't
to
go wrong.
watch. All right, for the dinner, do you think plated versus buffet?
Buffet. Really, every wedding I've done so far has been buffet.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I take that back. One at 1603. But yeah, I don't have a strong preference, I guess. Buffet just kind of seems like the easy pick, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Online invite versus mailed invite.
Mailed.
Mailed, yeah.
I just love getting something in the mail. I do love doing online RSVPs though. That's super.
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yeah,
Did
and
you?
I
Okay.
think it's the greatest thing they've ever came up with.
My parents were having a tough time accepting that with sending it to like the older crew. Like they'll figure it out. They can
They'll
text.
figure it out. Yeah, yeah, it is different, but it's becoming more normal, I feel like.
Yeah.
It
All
is.
right. Dessert versus late night food.
Dessert. Gotta have a dessert.
Mhm.
Late food is fun. But the only hesitation I have sometimes with late night food is that they get tired. Your guests get tired
Oh,
if they go a little too crazy eating too much. But I mean, it's still super fun and people love food. So
but that's a good point.
Yeah.
The dance floor might get a little slow after people eat their pizza or whatever it is.
good. I mean, if you got crazy family, I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
They're gonna be partying all night anyway. No. Photographer versus videographer.
Photographer. And I say that only because of maybe necessity sake, but I had a videographer. Definitely recommend. It's so lovely to look back. And I still have to post my wedding video. I just realized I posted all my photos and I felt annoying doing all of it at once on Facebook. So I need to go do that.
That's hilarious that you just came to that conclusion
Yeah.
right now.
We'll take the credit for that.
Share the link. Send us the link when you post that. All right. Real flowers versus faux.
Real. And honestly, you're going to spend about the same doing fake.
Really?
The only benefit is you get to sell them if you actually sell them. A lot of times people don't.
So true. I bought a ton of decor and in my head was like, oh, but I'll sell it and get rid of all of it. Still,
Yep.
almost 3 years later, have all of it. It just sits.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Local versus destination.
That's tough. I like local. I just love the meaning, I guess, behind maybe where you're getting married. So that's kind of why I love local. However, I love destination too. So like, I'm not very strongly opinionated here, I guess. But yeah. If you are looking for a way to minimize your guest list and you're having a lot of trouble with that, I would say just cut the nonsense and do destination. And then your parents maybe don't have to keep badgering you about like all your like random aunts and uncles.
It does cut the list down very easily doing that.
It does.
All right. I don't know if this is the right term for it, but head table versus sweetheart table. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like head table. I haven't seen, honestly, too many sweetheart tables yet. I like the idea of them, but I guess I just love being with all my buddies personally. So, yeah, that's kind of why I like those.
Yeah. I agree. Well, the thing is you seem to like almost all of these options, which means you're in the right industry.
Yes.
If you like all these things, that means that you probably go with any bride and you're open to a lot of different opinions.
Mm-hmm. And it's tough though, because it's like, you know, how much do they want my opinion exactly? I need to, that's one thing I've learned is I almost do need to be really open-minded about it all too.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Great trait to have for this.
Yeah. So where can people find you? How can people connect, learn more about you, see the work that you've done?
So my favorite is Instagram. I love posting on there. So behind the scenes events on Instagram, and on Pinterest. That was a recent fun one I finally started doing. So you can see me on there. Facebook, I guess I'm kind of lame on there. But otherwise, my website is behindthescenesevents.net.
Cool.
Perfect.
And on your website, you have your binder and those different resources, correct?
Yep. So there are some free downloads that you can get. So, you know, for example, like the emergency kit to pack the day of, that you can download for free. So that's kind of a fun one. And then there are actually design package. There's like a digital design package you can download to help you design your day. So it has everything you could possibly need, like, you know, what are you doing for what's on your welcome table? What's your welcome sign look like? What are your reserved table signs? Just little things like that you maybe wouldn't think of. So that's a spreadsheet, I guess you could call it, that you can download. I mean, it's not expensive at all, like $12, I want to say. All of that is in the binder too. So that's kind of just a taste of what the binder is. If you're curious and you don't maybe want to drop the full price, you can do a taste test of some of the freebies or those.
Cool.
That's so awesome.
So
Yay.
awesome. We will have all that linked. You'll have to send us that wedding video when you post it. And keep us updated with these weddings, especially the two that you mentioned. I'm so excited to see them.
I can't wait to see pictures.
Yeah, stay tuned. One's August 14th, one is the 20th. So I will be posting like crazy.
Cool. We will be following.
Yeah, we'll be following. We'll link everything.
I'm glad you guys exist. What a great idea.
We're so glad that we were able to talk with you. This was like,
thank you.
So fun.
Oh, amazing. You guys are the best. Thank you both.
Thanks.
Talk soon.
Have a good night.
Bye.